Welcome to another episode of the Cool Tools Show and Tell. Our special guest this week is Jason Swihart. Hey, Jason, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and watchers?
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for having me. I'm Jason Swihart. I am a digital strategist based in Altadena, California, here with my wife and my two dogs. And I'm also sort of a lifelong maker. I make furniture and I weld and do woodworking and a lot of house projects.
Great. I look forward to your tools because that's about what I am too, the amateur maker. So, Jason, what's one of your favorite tools?
Well, the one I wanted to start with is this stuff from, there's a company called FastCap, and they make a lot of good products, but this is something they call speed tape. This is a double-sided tape. This particular type is 1 inch by, this is a 50-foot roll. Costs about $14 and you can get it on Amazon or wherever. And I don't really remember how I happened across this stuff, except I think it was probably at a Rockler or something. I bought a roll of this stuff and I immediately knew it was special because I have an open roll here. It's really thin. It's, I think, 5.5 mils. What it's used for a lot is veneering projects. So if you wanted to edge band a piece of plywood or something like that, you might use this stuff. So it's sticky on this side, and then once you adhere it to one surface, you peel off this backing, which is non-sticky. And this stuff is fantastic for holding any two things together.
So a little confused. You said you take off the other side, and the other side is not sticky. So
it is sticky.
It is sticky. So it's double-sided. It's a double-sided tape.
It is a double-sided tape.
Okay.
Except that it's the best double-sided tape you've ever used in your life.
Right.
Especially if you want a permanent bond between two things.
And have you used the 3M stuff?
I've used all kinds of double-sided tapes. There may be a comparable product from 3M. This is the one that I found that blows my mind every time I use it.
Okay.
It's just incredibly sticky. And although it's a woodworking product, it will really stick any two things together. And it's pressure sensitive, so you burnish it to get the adhesive to stick, and then it becomes stronger over time. It is technically permanent, but I've had some luck getting it to release. And I'll just show you. Just wanted to show you, give you an idea of what it looks like. So here's a piece of tape I just applied to some acrylic.
Right. So you're holding up a little tiny piece of 1/4 inch acrylic, which has one little bit of tape, about 3 inches stuck to it.
Yep. And you can see it's, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty translucent. The great thing about this is you can use it in place of glue. Sometimes gluing is difficult if you have an irregular shape and you don't want to get glue spilling over. With woodworking, glue can fill pores and it can change how a material takes a finish. This stuff you can apply with the backing to one surface and then carefully cut it with an X-Acto knife to an exact shape, peel off the part you're not going to use, and then you have a very exact adhesion surface to bind two things together. Right. And if you want, I prepared a little demonstration.
Okay, sure.
All right. So here's a billet of aluminum.
So it's about the size of a cookie can or something, at least 8 inches diameter and 4 inches thick.
Yeah, about six by 4. It weighs 10 pounds.
Okay.
I use it. I use it as a doorstop. Where's my? And I prepared another object. It's just a pill bottle, but the top is nice and smooth. So I've put some tape on top, and I'll just peel
tape
off
on top of the pill bottle, and you're peeling off the
I'm peeling off the there we go. So there it is.
Right.
And now I'm just going to. I tried this last night and it worked. If it doesn't work this time, it's going to make a loud sound.
So he's adding or pressing the bottle with its cap onto the great big hunk of aluminum.
Yep.
And now just 30 seconds later, it holds it. That's incredible.
Right. So that's what I love about this stuff. It's instantaneous bond with or 30-second bond. It's incredibly strong, but you can get it to release if you just
peel from the side.
So I just find myself using it all the time for like many applications.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that also, if you let it cure, would you be able to peel it off tomorrow or the next day or next week? Yeah,
it takes a while to cure fully, and I will say it is if you need to unbond two things, a little bit of heat will warm it up and reactivate the adhesive, and it will release.
Okay.
So you do have to be a little bit careful about using it in applications where there will be heat.
Right.
So it's not so great, say, for an automotive application.
Mm-hmm.
But, for furniture, for anything around the house, you ever want to stick something to the wall,
right?
This stuff is great. And because it's so thin, that's the other thing. A lot of double-sided tape either isn't very sticky or it's kind of thick. Like that 3M puffy tape, which it's made out of foam and it has adhesive on both sides. It leaves a gap. This is 5 mils thick. So two things come together and there's almost no noticeable gap between the two things that are adhered.
Okay. Wonderful. So, and again, the name of that is
it's FastCap speed tape.
Speed tape.
And this comes in all sizes. They even make a 6-inch wide version of this. So you can buy it a roll that is 6 inches wide for big veneering projects or big things that need to be stuck.
And it's listed on Amazon, the 1-inch variety, for about $14.
$14, yeah.
Or a 50-foot roll.
Yep.
Okay, double-sided adhesive tape. Fantastic. Yes. So, Jason, what's your second pick for the day?
Yeah, so my second pick is another. It's a cordless tool system. I've gotten a lot from coverage on your show about other cordless tool systems, and I have. I've been, once you commit to a tool system, you're buying into the batteries, and it's a whole investment. You know the drill. So I have invested in the DeWalt 20-volt system. I like it for the most part. Good power. I've also invested in a 40-volt outdoor tool system called Greenworks, which is great. I forget who you were talking to, but somebody turned me on to their.
I think that was Tim O'Reilly and the battery-powered cordless chainsaw.
Yes, I ran out and got one of those. It's fantastic. But the one I want to talk about is from Milwaukee. It's the Milwaukee M12 system. This is a 12-volt tool system. I bought this. I bought my wife a hand drill, about 12 years ago. And she has smaller hands than me, and she wanted something that was a little bit lighter weight and more portable. So I went out and I bought the M12 system. And I don't know, I eventually borrowed her drill and was just blown away by how great it was. It was powerful, it was fast, and it was really lightweight, and the batteries lasted a really long time. So I got hooked, and so like I said, I do have a lot of DeWalt, yellow tools that use the 20-volt system, but this Milwaukee system has become really, really valuable to me because we do a lot of traveling. We go back and forth to Colorado, and I want to take tools with me. And the tools are small, they're powerful. Most of them are really well made and work really, really well.
And you're holding up a drill of some sort.
Yeah.
That's a little slimmer handle, but it also has a big red brace in front, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
Is that where the battery goes?
This is the battery goes in the bottom.
Okay. What's the red brace for? The red thing in the front?
I don't know, electronics or something. It's got a light. It has an LED light.
All right.
I know this form factor for some reason has become popular for drills. Festool sort of introduced this form factor with the front hand guard. So I provided a link to this. This looks, if you look at it on Amazon, it looks a little schlocky because what this has is a removable chuck. So it comes with
you took off the front half of it with one hand.
Yep. And it has a driver chuck.
Uh-huh. And
it has an offset driver chuck for getting into this one. You can see it. The driver chuck comes out offset from the center of the drill motor, so you can get this into tight spots. And it also has an angle chuck. I didn't come here to promote this product in particular, although I like this one because it shows the versatility, and I just take this everywhere with me. It's so lightweight, and the thing is, I'm consistently impressed with how powerful it is, how much driving it can do, and how well it can do it. AVE did a review of this tool, which is it's a good review, and he was impressed. So I think that's a good tool to show off. But as you do, I've got a flashlight that's great.
Okay. So you're holding up a little tiny flashlight with the same battery as part of its system.
Yeah.
Basically, it's an LED thing that plugs into the top of it.
I've got a Dremel tool,
Oh, okay. There's a Dremel version of the battery.
And I've also got, I'm borrowing this because I'm doing some plumbing. I'm borrowing it from my friend Rob. This is a PEX expander.
Okay. So you're holding up, it looks like a really large size drill, but there's no twisty bit on the end. It's can't see what it is, but
it's a thing that stretches PEX.
Right. Ah, cool.
You stick this down into the PEX tube, and it expands it long enough so you can get it over the fitting. This is an expensive tool. This is, I think, $250 or $300.
But it's also relying on the same 12 volts.
Same 12 volt thing. And the fantastic thing about this is it's small, it's lightweight. You can use it all day. It doesn't get you tired. So the other reason I love this system is that the batteries are cheap. A regular, like a 2 amp hour battery is about $30. And a 4 amp battery is about $50. And I mean, I'm sure you and everybody who listens to this knows how much like a DeWalt 20 volt battery can cost. It can be, hundreds of dollars for a single battery. And this thing, these charge fast. This is a 4 amp hour. It has more batteries in the bottom. This is a 2 amp hour. You can get these at Home Depot or wherever on sale for dirt cheap. I've got like, I don't know, 20 of these things. And the other thing I will say is that I mentioned I bought my first one 12 years ago for my wife, and I just had the first battery fail.
Wow.
So I don't know what the engineering is, but these batteries are incredibly high quality. They've just been great. I haven't had that's like 12 years before the first one failed. So
wow,
it's just a wonderful system, and because it's so compact and light, you can throw a bunch of tools in your luggage and take it with you wherever you want to go.
Can you envision, or do you imagine, or have you seen Milwaukee sort of slowly replacing things that were formerly 20 volt with the 12 volt versions?
No, I can't, because so they have an 18 volt system, and that's really aimed more at the prosumer market. And you can, with an 18 volt battery, you can run things like impact drivers,
Right.
bigger motors with that require more force. No, I can't really imagine that going away and being replaced by the 12 volt.
See it doing a skill saw or a
yeah. No, actually,
vacuum.
Yeah, they have in this M12 system, they do have a little cutoff saw, but it's more of a grinder. But yeah, the motors on these are very small, and to keep the form factor down. And I've actually got one tool that I think is not so great, which is it's a Sawzall.
You're holding up a little, fairly small looking. Again, it looks like kind of deformed drill.
Yeah.
That takes the battery, and then the saw part would go. You would add it in the front. Yeah,
it has the
saw.
The normal Sawzall receiver in front. This is not so great.
It doesn't have enough power. Is that why?
It doesn't. It actually doesn't. It doesn't have quite enough power, and the throw is really short. This is okay for cutting lightweight stuff with a fine tooth blade, but I was trying to cut out 2x4s downstairs as I'm renovating, and this just didn't cut it. It would be wonderful if it did, because I would love to be able to use this instead of my big Sawzall, but it just won't really do the trick. So this one is not so great, but every other tool I've bought in this system has been outstanding.
Right.
And I do have a jigsaw that's great in this system.
9 volt, I mean.
12 volt. Yeah, 12 volt.
Excuse me, 12 volt, yeah.
Yeah, 12 volt saber saw or jigsaw. That is fantastic because it's so light. It's very maneuverable. I wouldn't trade the power really to go to a 20 volt version in the DeWalt system. I like the small the small size.
Right, and something like a jigsaw, you're unlikely to be using it for really extended times. They're usually smaller, shorter jobs.
Yeah. There's actually a YouTube channel called Foresty Forest. He's a Canadian guy who lives in a van and travels all around and goes hiking with his very cute little Jack Russell Terrier, and he has one of those jigsaws, and he uses it for everything. He has videos where he's building out the inside of his van, and he cuts everything with his jigsaw. It's amazing what he gets done with this dumb little jigsaw. It's really impressive. Yeah, so it's very, very capable.
So, okay, yeah.
Well,
that's really great. I mean, I think you're right about considering that things don't have to be 60 volts, especially, and even 20 volts, and we can get by with a smaller form factor. Well,
really I think I'm paraphrasing you when I say this. The best tool is the one you have with you. I think I've heard somebody say the best camera is the one you have with you.
That's absolutely true.
And
so you're likely to have this one with you because it's so small.
It'll fit in your trunk. You can put 12 tools in your trunk, and they're with you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very good. Okay, Jason. So what's your third tool?
All right. Well, for this, I'm going to do some screen sharing.
Okay.
I'll introduce it first, and then I'll start the screen share. So, like many people who do projects around the house, I've often wished I had a pickup truck, but I don't really love spending money on extra vehicles. I think vehicles are a hassle and they're expensive. And but a few years ago, I had a need to be able to haul stuff around. And what I ended up getting, and we have a small hatchback. I'm going to start the screen share now.
So while you're doing that, Jay Baldwin, my mentor at Whole Earth, who is Mr. Tool, who introduced me to tools, his advice always was that many people tend to buy a vehicle based on their vacation plans.
Yeah.
So they would sort of size the vehicle for what they were imagining that they would be doing at their vacation, which is only 2 weeks a year. And so 50 weeks of the year, they're using this vacation-sized vehicle for their daily commute. And his thing was you could rent something for your vacation, or if you needed to move something, and still have a very economical vehicle for the rest of the year. And that's sort of my philosophy as well. And it seems to be yours. And so you have here, you're showing on our screen, is a trailer.
It's a trailer. This is a Harbor Freight. It's called a Hallmaster trailer. And I
love Harbor Freight.
I love them too. My dad, my dad was his advice was always, what was it? Buy once, cry once.
Yeah.
And I totally disagree.
Me too.
I want the cheapest tool that will get the job done, and I want to use it up. I want to wear it into the ground, and then, upgrade when it becomes insufficient.
Right. Exactly.
So I bought this thing. I don't know, 4 years ago.
How much did it cost?
It was. I think I got it on sale for about $400.
Right.
When they don't have coupons anymore, but they used to have coupons for stuff.
Yeah. So this is, to describe to our listeners, it's a frame for a little tow trailer with 2 wheels and an axle and kind of a framed out bed on top and a tow hitch. And that's that's it.
Yep. And it weighs, I think the whole package weighs maybe 200 pounds. So it's very easy to wheel around by hand. The other great thing, though, is that it folds. Oops.
Oh, wow.
So here I've got a picture of it folded.
Wow.
So it folds up into a 2-foot wide or 2 foot deep by about 5 foot wide package. So I don't know if you can see, but it has these little rolling wheels.
There's the little casters at the bottom to roll around when it's folded up.
So you can squeeze it into your garage.
Cool.
The bed is 4 feet by 8 feet. So it's like perfect pickup truck size surface.
You can fit a 4 by 8 sheet of whatever, plywood or
exactly. Yeah. And it's small. It's really short. So it's easy to pull. You can pull it with anything that you can put a trailer hitch on. And they have several versions. The one I got has a load capacity of 1,720 pounds. And it comes with 12-inch wheels. So I think it has a maximum speed rating of 55 miles an hour, although I take it faster than that. It's LA, so you have to go 70 no matter what. So it folds up into this little package. You can pull it with anything, and I still sometimes wish I had a pickup truck, but this thing just makes it unnecessary. I can't justify it. The retail price right now for it, I think, has gone up to like $550.
Okay. And this is a frame. I can see why you could lay a piece of plywood on it. But if you're not trying to haul a piece of plywood, what do you use for the base?
So what you get when you buy this thing is just this frame, and then you can see it has these brackets on the side. Those will hold a 2x4. So it has brackets in front, and so you can insert 2x4s and make sides for this thing. And then most people cover the deck with a piece of plywood that they saw in half, so that it can still fold up. So you've got a 4x4 in front and a 4x4 in back, and it folds up. Or some people use like 2x4s or timbers to cover the bed of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And here I've got more pictures. So
this is a picture of the same trailer that has 2x4 upright struts.
Yep. That are about 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
You can haul. It looks like maybe it's for hauling motorcycles or pigs or something.
It has metal strapping around the joints.
Yep. And here's another one that uses these side
struts. Yeah.
These side brackets to hold the 2x4s on the sides, and they've built the sides for it, which makes it
like shallow. It has like a shallow plywood box, 8 feet by 4 feet, and maybe only 2 feet high, and that forms a crate around the frame.
Yeah, and I have this set up. None of these are mine, but I have this set up for mine. And it's great because again, you can fill it up with dirt. You can put anything you want in there, and as long as it won't fly out the back, you can carry it. So we use it for getting materials from the garden supply. Right now, mine is. So we have a windy path that goes down behind our house, and we're doing some remodeling in our downstairs. A lot of demo right now. And I've got one of those yellow sacks. It's a sack that you use instead of a roll-off dumpster.
Yes, it's like a big, huge canvas bag.
Right,
like
exactly.
4 feet high and 4 feet wide, and you fill it with dirt or whatever. Yeah,
well, we've got a steep hill behind our house. And you have to go around, and I really didn't want to schlep all of the debris up in a wheelbarrow to the top of our drive, so it could be, and then dump it in the yellow sack. So I've got the yellow sack on top of my trailer, and I have an instant roll off dumpster. When it's full, I hook it up to the car, I pull it up to the top of the drive. Yellow sack comes and takes it off the trailer, and we're good to go. And people do crazy things with these. The other thing about this is it's fun because it's very modifiable, very hackable. It's a very simple, not a precious piece of equipment. So people do crazy things like make the adventure trailers. That's what I'm showing here now. I think this one has a roof-mounted tent on it, and the guy's put in metal sides to hold his camping trailer. It's like an overland trailer, and then people also use them to make teardrop trailers for travel.
Right, they take the frame and they build a custom teardrop trailer on top. Very clever. Very
clever. So it's endlessly modifiable, and if you have a MIG welder, you can start welding stuff on, and it's really fun, and it's just been fantastic as a replacement for a truck.
Right.
It's really nice not to have to buy not to own more vehicles, and not to have to do that in LA. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's perfect. That's a great idea. A perfect suburban solution. So you're hitting 3 for 3. So Jason, what's your final favorite tool?
Yeah. So I have another screen share that I want to do for this. So so just a little preamble. So my fourth item is social dancing.
Social what?
Social dancing.
Social dancing. Okay.
Yeah. So social dancing has a long history. So maybe I should back up. So there are different kinds of dancing, and some of them are formal and some of them are informal. Social dancing is a type of dancing you do with a partner, usually with a partner, and it's informal. It's not choreographed. It's not scripted in any way. And some examples of social dances would be tango, contra dance. There's West Coast swing, which is done to like pop music and R&B music. There are various kinds of Latin dances. There's DC hand dancing, which is it's an offshoot of swing dancing, and I happen to be a swing dancer. I started swing dancing. My wife was a swing dancer when we met, and she got me into it. I started when I was 36. So you said that's I say unscripted kind of collective dancing, but the contra example might be like square dancing or things where there is much more of or line dancing, which is much more where it's scripted in the sense that you're following a routine. Is that right? Yes, although contra and square dancing does have a component of improvisation because you don't know what's going to be called.
Okay, so would you include that in your list of social dancing then?
I would. And another aspect of social dancing that differentiates it from, say, ballroom dancing, many forms of ballroom dancing, or something like ballet or jazz, is that you dance it with a partner, and although it's not required, you frequently change partners. So if you go out for a night of dancing, like if I go out for a night of swing dancing with my wife, we might dance 2 dances together and then each dance with 20 other people all night long. So that's sort of the social part of it. It's not so it's not choreographed, it's informal, and there are rules to each type of dance, or there are principles of each dance form, but really you don't script anything in advance, and you dance with people people you don't know. You dance with whoever's there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got it.
So I don't know. Do you think it's useful for me to show a video?
No, I think people get it. Is there? Do you have any tips on where people might want to find that in their vicinity? Is there like in a Social Dancing Association of America or the world, or where do people go?
Well, so my advice is if you've never danced before, so basically if you're in any relatively urbanized place in the world, there is some kind of social dancing, and probably a lot of different types of social dancing going on. The reason I'm treating this as a tool is one of the things that's great about social dancing is you can really go anywhere in the world and instantly have a social activity to do, a way to meet people wherever you are. And I've done it in China. I've done it, all over Europe. And you can just walk into a dance. You pay your $5 or your $10 to go to a dance, and suddenly you're meeting people and you're dancing with them.
Are the dances the same all over the world? If you're doing social dancing, I mean, you have to learn a new dance, or are they all doing basically the same suite of different kind of dances?
So for instance, people tend to specialize in one or two particular social dances. I've specialized in swing dancing. So if I'm going to Copenhagen, I look up their weekly local dance, or I get in touch with somebody there and I say, hey, when's your weekly dance? And when I go there, the form of the dance and the sort of the social structure of the dance is pretty familiar. It doesn't vary too much around the world. So anywhere I go, if I want to go swing dancing, I know sort of what the rules of the road are going to be. And it's the same for all of the other forms. Tango has some very particular rules of the road. But if you're a tango dancer, you know what they are. And they're going to be the same in Finland as they are in Argentina. And you know what to expect. Likewise, your dancing, dance is sort of a language. It's a language of movement. And with any dance you learn the grammar, you learn all of there's pre-existing constructs. There are moves you do, but there are also rules about how you execute. Different dances have different ways of, say, storing and releasing energy, or right. moving one another.
Right.
And those patterns are common across, anywhere you're doing that particular dance. So if I go dancing in China, more or less, we're all going to know the same rule set. We're going to know a lot of the same moves, and there's, it's a fairly friction-free process of diving into a social.
And you don't really need to speak the local language. I mean, it's its own language in a certain sense.
Yeah, all you need to know is 5, 6, 7, 8. If you can count to 8 in any language, you're pretty good to go.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, the other thing I was going to say is, I started when I was 36. The only kind of dancing I'd ever done prior to that was, in a high school gymnasium, standing face to face, sort of bopping around, and social dancing involves touching other people, moving with them, moving them. Usually, in most social dancing, you have a leader and a follower. Those roles don't have to be associated with one gender or another, but it's common for leaders to be men and followers to be women, and it's a rule-bound way to have physical interaction with other people in a way that's safe and but also very freeing. And it's also a way to, one of the things I discovered was a whole world of kinesthetic learning. I've never played an instrument, and that's also a kinesthetic learning process where you get your muscles, you might call it muscle memory. You teach your muscles how to do a thing,
right,
and then you can do it without thinking about it.
Right,
and
right.
Dancing is very much the same. You build up this kinesthetic knowledge that lives in your body, and it's a really different way of relating to your physical body. It's a great way to meet people and to the other thing I was going to say is it's pretty cheap, and if you want to travel with it, all you need is a pair of shoes that you can dance. You don't need any gear. Mm-hmm. You don't need a bicycle. You don't need any gear of any kind. All you need is a pair of shoes you can dance in. You can find a dance anywhere near you. If people wanted to figure out, if people wanted to find local dances, they would just Google tango near me,
right,
and they'll get a whole swath of options, or swing dancing near me. But basically, any major urban center will have multiple classes every night in social dancing of different forms, from Latin forms to swing dancing to tango. And you just Google it, and studios who teach do a pretty good job of marketing themselves.
Oh. Well, thank you. That's a brilliant suggestion. I did notice that you had a fifth tool, vinyl wrap.
Oh,
that was that something you wanted to include, or?
I'm happy to talk about it. I had second thoughts about it.
But just tell me what it is that we're talking. Is it the kind of wrap for your automobile, where you wrap your automobile in colors?
Yeah. It's automobile wrap. It's made out of vinyl. It comes in lots of different colors and finishes. You can buy small rolls of it on Amazon, and the roll is, it might be 6 by 10, 6 inches.
What's it for?
By 10 feet.
What do you use it for? Do you use it for wrapping your car, or do you use it for something else?
You can use it for you can use it for wrapping almost any smooth surface.
I see. Okay.
And the fantastic thing about it is it's well, you probably remember contact paper.
Yeah.
Everybody used to put contact paper. Well, contact paper leaves a sticky goo. If you're renting an apartment or something like that, or you don't want to paint. Well, vinyl wrap doesn't have any of those problems. You apply it. You use heat, it will form nicely around irregular shapes. And if you want to peel it off, you warm it up a little bit, and it peels right off. It is kind of expensive, but the wonderful thing about it is that you can really find a wide array of colors, and sometimes I have found it to be preferable in certain cases to like spray paint, or breaking out the compressor and a sprayer.
Right. Okay.
Because you can get essentially a perfect finish really fast on a surface, and you're not committed to it. It peels right off.
Cool. All right. That's good. It's a good enough suggestion. Thank you again for that. Yep. Did you have anything you wanted to share with our listeners or watchers about a project that you may be working on, or your next thing, or a cause you believe in, or something personal about you? Yeah.
Well, I have more things going on in my life than I know what to do with, and I've been shedding. I've been shedding stuff. I'm in my early 50s, and I'm getting to the age where I just don't have the energy to take everything on. So I did want to mention I co-founded a nonprofit a few years ago called Pacific Swing Dance Foundation. It's pacificswingdancefoundation.org. And if people want to check it out, we do a lot of interesting things. And during the pandemic, one of the things we did was raise quite a bit of money to support full-time dance instructors who couldn't work because you couldn't go dancing during the pandemic. Sweating and breathing heavily in an enclosed room was not a safe activity. So I'm throwing that out there. But actually, I have my new passion project is I've decided after I don't know 33-ish years of being in the digital space. I started out as a web designer in college, when Mosaic beta came out, and I've been doing it my entire life. And I've just reached this point where I want to make furniture. I want to make stuff. I want to do that all the time. So I've decided to launch a business and try to make a go of it. It's called I'm calling it Verity, Verity Workshop, and it's just verityworkshop.com. And I'm just embarking on this. So my plan is to take, I make a lot of furniture, and I restore furniture for my wife and myself. We have a lot of furniture that I've made in our house, and it just came to a point recently where I realized I just want to be doing that. So that's my new passion project.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna try to not do digital work anymore, and I'm gonna try to get people to buy my furniture.
And would you be doing custom things, or just try and have a line of?
I'm going to do both. I'm gonna start a line of probably a half a dozen different objects, from some small items. So, like, for instance, I made myself I don't know that this would be something I would actually sell, but some version of this you can. It still has the plastic on it, but this is just this is just a this is just a phone holder for my desk, made out of teak and acrylic. So I'll have some small stuff, but my goal is to build and sell larger stuff, chairs, cabinetry, that kind of stuff, and I love modernism. I have for a really long time. I collect Danish modern furniture, and I've done a lot of restoration. So my hope also is to do restoration of modern furniture, and to also get commissions doing copies.
Okay.
When people when people bust a chair and they only have 5 and they need a 6th. Make a pattern and make copies. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. What a fantastic start and restart. So we wish you best of success in that. And I can see why you could use some tools. Thank you for sharing some of your favorite tools. They're really great things. A couple of ones I didn't even know about. And I applaud your passion for social dancing, and thank you for that tool as well. So it was a gret day. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me on here. I'll just say I've benefited enormously from Cool Tools and from your other work. In fact, I've been enjoying your book. So I want to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
You've brought an enormous amount to the world, and it's wonderful that you've had such a rich life and rich career.
Well, I appreciate it.
And it's incredibly impressive that Cool Tools has been around for 25 years.
I know.
I lived through the blogging revolution. I was sort of in the middle of it, and it's amazing how much of that just has ceased to exist.
Unfortunately. Although I still have my RSS feeder and I read my blogs at night, so I haven't abandoned it. And we're still going one way or the other. But thank you for your kind words. That's really very sweet. So, Jason, it's really been a pleasure. And I appreciate your taking time to share with us.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
This year, our Cool Tools blog will be 20 years old, which means we've been posting something new every day for 20 years. It's only possible because of the very engaged and knowledgeable readers and listeners like yourself. You've kept this place going, and we are very grateful for you. With this idea of 20 years in mind, we decided to try an experiment this year, and I'm inviting our guests and listeners to join me on our Cool Tool Show and Tell, which is the program that you're listening to right now. So if you feel you'd make a good guest on this podcast and have 4 uncommon tools that you'd like to share with us, please sign up on our form on the website, and we'll see about inviting you. You must be comfortable talking on a video, and you need to have some tools that you can show. We record on, as you know, on Zoom. We do a YouTube version, a video version of it, as well as an audible version. Fill out the form if you're interested, and list your 4 cool tools, and we'll see if there's a good fit. The applications aren't guaranteed in any way. And we're looking at tools that are new to us and appropriate tools, and whether the times will work for you. So we're really interested in hearing from people all over the world, not just in the US, although the tools have to be available online, easily available online. And if you are a longtime listener, you kind of know what the definition of our tools are. They're very broad. They can be anything that's handy, from something in the kitchen to something you use to travel, to a workshop, to something professional that we may not know about. We're really interested in things that we don't know anything about. So this is an open invitation. We'll give it a try. If you think you make a good guess for this podcast, fill out the form. There'll be a link somewhere on our website. And we look forward to chatting with you. Thank you.